How are you guys? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support since episode 1, and now we are at episode 10. This is the last episode, and I am so happy. We are so happy. We've been seeing our statistics telling us that people are watching from all over the world, from Dubai, from Qatar, from South Africa, from Eastern Central Africa, and we are grateful for that. We are so grateful. Continue watching as we wait for other episodes. By this season 2 itakuwa fire, see fire. Itakuwa moto sana, by the way. That's for sure. So this is episode 10. We are wrapping up, and it's been work. It has not been easy, but all in all, here we are in the last episode, and let's get into it. When I got married, I was so happy. At least one of the many things in my life was so good for me. Something that I really loved had happened to me. And we were quite happy. We were enjoying life. Business was good. At some point, we migrated from Nakuru, and we came back to Nairobi and started settling down, and life was good generally. But in between the time, as we were still going on with our lives, my dad got sick, and it all started with something that looked like a flu. He started losing his voice. We thought it was cold. Mara mingi tungeongea na yeye, anasema ni baridi ilimshika, akapata homa, sauti ikapotea. But little did we know that that would come to become a very big issue. So when we went to the hospital, a very local hospital, and he was examined, tukaelezea daktari that he has been having this cold yenye haiendi, haponi, sauti inapotea, hairudi. Daktari akatutuma hospitali kubwa. So, and when we went there and another examination was done, it was realized that he had cancer, the throat cancer. And we were so shocked. We were so much in shock because I've never imagined such a disease in our home. You know, there has been a lot of stereotypes around that disease, that it only affects the rich and the wealthy. But now it was in our home. We were so shocked. We were so saddened. And then it was during COVID time, so people were not earning as much. We were only earning something just to sustain your lives. So that came as a shock to us. So we started now plans, now the chemotherapy. It was so expensive. We did a fund drive, and people came through for us. We raised some money, even if it was not enough. He needed money for food, he needed money for medicine, for chemo, for clinics, for daily upkeep, all those things. And the money was not quite enough, but people really came through. But one challenge that was there was that most of this man's life, he had been away. So many of the people even in the society did not know him, except for the few friends who knew him from way back, maybe in their early youthful days, those such friends. But the society keeps changing, new people come and other people go. So many people did not know him, considering that he had only stayed, after he had come back, he had only been there for some few years, maybe 4. So a lot of people had not known him very well. So even having people to come through and support him and all that, it was quite not easy. It was not easy actually. And then we had our mom, who also had her own struggles, and so that whole burden was on us. And at that particular moment, we had no children, but I think I was pregnant at that moment. So we used to go to KNH. It was COVID time. Hakuna watu walikuwa wanaenda kuvisit mtu. It was a very hard time for us because people could not visit other people. And then for a person like me, I was pregnant and I was the one who was taking him for clinics, and it was quite challenging. And then he could not talk. He could only write down whatever he needed. He could only write down, and deep down I would ask myself so many questions. This was a man who was so talkative. I knew him to be a man who was so talkative, so hyped up. Hata akilewa anaongea, but now he was reduced to not talking at all. Even if he was agitated, he could not do anything. And then he was in so much pain. I saw him shrink down in pain until the end. He was in so much pain, he could not even express it by the word of mouth. And even if he had thoughts in his mind, he could not tell them. He could not talk. So he fell into like something like depression. Then, due to his drinking problem and his smoking problem, he used to have headaches a lot. So I saw him suffer a lot. I used to pity him a lot. That was the moment that I came to realize that this life is so, I don't even know which word to use, because he was the strongest man I know. I remember even in our wedding, he was so strong, he was so huge. I saw him in a suit, so handsome, and right now, at this moment, he was reduced to, he was so slim, he was so weak, he was so much in pain. And that taught me a lot about life, that sometimes you can be up there and sometimes you can be, and this other time you can be so down. So at each particular time, you need to do what is necessary for that moment. That really, by the way, that really made even our marriage quite wavy, because there was a lot of demands needed, and then we had our own demands. We were not stabilized, but at the end of it all, we conquered that. And it came a moment now when his illness ikadeteriorate, akakuwa more and more sick, pesa zikaisha. You know that this disease leaves people so broke, inawaacha watu wakiwa fukara sana. And I know most of the people who have gone through such, they know what I mean. He stayed in that bed for 2 years. After those 2 years, I think in the second year, he passed on, and tukamzika tu hapo nyumbani. During all this time, I was so much in fear of him not surviving and losing him again, and this time losing him for good. And I was still in denial of many things. Yeah, I was so afraid, and I knew this time when he leaves, he will live for good, because he was so sick and he was in pain. So it was not easy to release him, but we had to release him so that he can, all this burden of pain and what can leave him. So by the time it was one day when I was just working in my own house. My husband was given a call, and he was given the bad news. Someone called him and told him what had happened at home. Dad had passed, and so we had to rush home so that we can finalize all the details, all the things that are done when someone passes. He was taken to the morgue, and that was that. I remember I was so much in denial. But before he passed on, there was one thing that happened. He called our pastor, and he got born again. I remember we went to visit him one night, and we went there with our pastor, and he wrote down on a paper and said that he wanted to get born again. And this was a man who was so I don't know what was so hard-headed from way back, and I never thought that he can get born again. He was one person that I never thought that he can get born again. But at this particular time, I think he knew what he knew, and he knew that he would not come out of that bed alive, and so he got born again. Our pastor prayed for him, and 2 weeks later, we were given that call, and we were told that he had passed on. By the way, there was one thing that I really desired to see from him. Now that he had gotten born again, I really desired him to get out of that bed and go to church and give a testimony of his salvation. That is one thing I really desired to hear him do, because that never crossed my mind that he can get born again. So that did not happen. But it was still okay. So tukamfanyia matanga, and he was buried at our home. And after that, I remember myself not being able to mourn him, because of I had so many thoughts. I had so many I think there was some kind of disbelief that he is now normal. No more expectations that he will come back. The first time that he had gone, we were still expecting and hoping that he will appear, come back, and he did. Finally, he came back, but it was short-lived. We only lived with him for 4 years, and then he passed on. But I lived in denial for some time. But right now, I've been able to release him. I have been able to accept that he's normal. And life continued. And I have learned so many things from my story. From the time I began this story, I remember saying that life could be so unfair. Like, when you just think that now things are good, your dad is back in town, now you have a complete family, then he's snatched away from you, and now he's gone for good. That's why I was saying in my first episode that life could sometimes be so unfair, but I could not have learned the things that I have learned right now if I had not gone through all that stuff. Right now, I have people who have held my hand as fathers, as friends, and they have been so close and so dear to me, and they have been able to fill that gap in my life. So God has come through for me in a very big way. And as I wrap up this episode, I can say that life has a lot of unfairness, a lot of roller coasters, ups and downs, but it is so good to live in the moment. Live in the moment. Take advantage of every moment that you have. Live for that moment. Enjoy that moment. Do not regret anything, because you don't know what may happen tomorrow. You don't know what life holds in the future. And that is what I have learned to do right now. Right now I have learned to cherish every moment, cherish my family. I can imagine, by the way, I can say that life is unfair, but looking back, all the things that God has done for me, they are so incredible. Who would have thought that I would have my own family, I would have a husband, I have 3 children, I have a home, I have peace in my mind. And you know what? This is not the end of the story. It is just the beginning. I would have loved my father to be here today to see all the things that I have achieved and all the things that I'm going to achieve, because where there are going to be great things, I'm going to achieve great things. Watch this space, I'm telling you. But God knew better. God knew better. My life still moves, and I thank God for this far. So that has been my story. Not all of it, and not the end of it. This is just the beginning. So wait for more.
Time has come when you will see your miracle. Oh, na, 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 na. Someday, 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 you're gonna see your miracle. Someday, 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 you're gonna see your miracle. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. Blessed is the man who trusts in a man. Blessed is he who seeks God's approval. Cast is the one who seeks